You're listening to KZUU 90.7 FM Pullman. We're a broadcast service of the ASWSU. I'm your host, DJ DayZ, and welcome to What's New Wazzu, Episode 7, featuring the KZUU Management.
So I'm Justin. I am the co-head music director here, and I am a math education major.
I am Zeke. I am a Japanese major, and I am the program director here.
I'm Caden Blessing. I am the general manager, and I am an AMDT major.
Right on. Thank you so much. And thank you guys so much for your time. I know it's the weekend. I know we got lots of fun plans later tonight, so thanks for making the time now. I'd love to get this interview started with, when you guys became a DJ. What made each of you want to become a DJ? What was your set name? What kind of music did you play? And what was your DJ name as well? So, anyone can answer.
Okay, I'll go first. So I think me, Zeke, and Dayton all joined at the same time. I think the same. Well, that was your freshman year.
Yeah. My
sophomore year. Is the levels fine over there? Yeah. Okay. But so yeah, I joined. I guess that was 3 years ago now, and I came out to Pullman. I had no interest in and I wouldn't say interest, but it was on my radar, college radio, none of that stuff. But my first roommate at the time, he was actually the head music director of the station at the time, Jet Freeman. He, and I have known him my whole life. He was my brother's best friend growing up. And he got me involved at the station just as a DJ that first semester I moved out here. I didn't have anything going on in my life, and he was just doing music stuff post-COVID. And
cool.
We all know post-COVID and what COVID did to KZUU. So he was, he got me involved. And so now we're here 3 years later. I think my show was still the same name. I think it was just called Whoa, This Is Cool. And then I never had a DJ name. I'm one of those people where I have a gamer tag on Xbox, and I'm that's the only other name I've ever given myself. You know what I mean? And so I'm not gonna call myself my gamer tag.
Not gonna dox yourself like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Not gonna be traced back to
you. So I just kept it Caden. Whoa, this is cool. And yeah, that was basically the short little story of how I joined.
Right on.
Yeah, so I joined the station as soon as I came to WSU because I had heard that the school had a radio station, and I'm I need to be part of that. I was so pumped, and I was really excited to get involved because I really wanted a way to apply my passion for music into something that was more club related, and so it was a way for me to meet other people who liked the same sort of stuff.
Awesome.
And when I joined, so my DJ name is the first two letters so my full name is Zeke Mitchell-Hopmeier. So I took the first two letters of each of those names and just made it Esmaho. And so my name
doxing.
Yeah. Yeah. So my DJ name is Esmaho. And my show name is Dream Oscillator, and I play electronic music on it.
Awesome. Love it.
And I guess I was kind of the late addition in terms of all of us. I came in spring of 2022, so second semester of my freshman year.
Okay.
I was walking through, I think it was Avery Hall on my way to my English class, and I saw a super old poster that advertised us.
Oh, that's sick.
And I was oh man, I wonder if that's still around. And I was kind of interested in joining a club anyway. And I was okay. So I immediately just hit up the email, and I was oh, hey, I'd be super interested, and, luckily our manager at the time got back to me, and the rest is kind of history from there.
Awesome.
My show name was the same as it still is now. It was From Strangers to Friends. And basically, the reason why I named it that was because I wanted to take my listeners to being from strangers to friends, kind of with me as well as with the artist that I was showing them.
Cool.
Since the whole point of us is to kind of highlight the smaller artists.
That's always been one of my favorite set names. Through the couple years that I've seen them and stuff. From Strangers to Friends, that one's always stuck out to me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But and then my DJ name. Same as Caden, the only thing I ever called myself was Justin.
Yeah.
So I mean, I didn't even have like a gamer tag or anything like that. But yeah,
That's awesome.
That's it.
Well, thanks for sharing. It's really interesting hearing how you guys became involved. So I guess my next question would be: I know Caden's kind of the first that's going to be doing this, but that's graduating and leaving KZUU. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have planned to do after you leave, and kind of how this experience is going to help you in the future.
Should we just go in chronological then?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So
Sounds great.
I graduate in December of this year. I have no idea what I'm doing post graduation. I came to WSU as a construction management major, so that had a lot of job security post graduation, and so then I obviously switched to AMDT, which does not have that job security.
Can you explain what that is briefly?
AMDT, it's a apparel merchandise design apparel merchandise design textile.
Okay.
And I'm on the merchandise side, which is the business side of the fashion major. So a lot of random, very just industry related classes. So it's cool. It's very interesting, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with that necessarily. But while my time in college, I've obviously had KZUU and a lot of other resume builders and stuff like that. So I think we'll just see where I end up. I do a lot of graphic design, as you guys know. So we'll see. I definitely would love to stay in the music world, whether or not that's working for a radio station or something like that, or even just starting my own, music blog or stuff like that. I definitely want to maintain in the world.
Well, this will definitely help you with that.
Yeah. I mean, the people that I've met, the artists and everybody. So, I'll be able to take those networks and connections post grad. So we'll see what I can make out of it.
Awesome.
I'm not too concerned as of right now. I'm still trying to enjoy the last year I have here. So yeah.
Good.
And then is it me or you?
I think it's you.
Okay, so I graduate spring of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a math education major, so obviously I want to become a teacher. And I don't know, I feel like this has definitely motivated me to hopefully, once I become a teacher and everything like that, try to get a club together or something at the school, wherever I end up.
High school radio would be crazy.
Yeah, I know. High school radio would be insane.
That'd be awesome.
It might be a little bit hard to manage, but I mean, so
yeah.
are we. So, but no, I definitely am glad that I've done this, and it's like I said, it's kind of motivated me to hopefully continue doing something like this.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah, and for me, I'm going to be here for another 2 years. It's gonna be rough. Yeah, I'm spring of 2026 or something. I'm not even keeping track. It's just it'll happen eventually. But since I have such a specific major, I'm a Japanese major, as I said earlier. It's there's less very clearly defined jobs for that, but I really would like to continue working in radio and with broadcasting in some way. And so currently my big ambition with radio and with my major is to be able to be a radio host in Japan. So yeah,
that would be so
that
cool.
would be really sick, right? And talk radio is still a really big thing in Japan, and you can go online and tune in right now, and there's lots of stations that just do talk radio. And
what type of music is typically played over there right now? Do you know?
It really depends. Of course, there's a lot of pop stations that just play Japanese pop music, but also there are stations that play more traditional Japanese music. So I guess there's as much variety there as there would be here, but maybe just there's a bit of a shift in genre.
Interesting. That's very cool. That's cool. All right, so I have a few individual questions, but I have one last question for all of you right now. And I'd love if you could describe what Treefort is and what it means to KZUU.
All right.
And I got some more follow-up questions as we go. But
so I think
let's start there.
I'm the only one that's...
I'm
the only one that's been to
got this.
Treefort.
You got this.
Treefort is the greatest thing ever. And I'm really excited that you two will get to go this year. It's going to be a great time. I think this is, this will be Treefort 12. So the 12th year that they're doing it.
Cool.
And my first year was Treefort 10. And I think that year they had, I don't think they surpassed the 500 musician mark. I think that was just last year where they finally like got 500.
Wow.
But yeah, so the past couple of years they've had hundreds of musicians. It's like a 5-day festival. And we've been able, as a station, we've been able to get passes and be able to go cover the event since I want to say 2018. I feel like we have some old stuff, but
Yeah.
COVID happened, and maybe it was 2019.
Hard to say.
Yeah, but I mean, my year was not the first year KZUU had been out there. And so yeah, like I said, it's like 500 musicians over a 5-day span where it's just covers like all of downtown Boise. There's main stages, and then it's like every cafe, record shop, restaurant, vintage store, whatever wants to be a venue is a venue.
Dope. And it's
so-
more than music, right?
Yeah,
So
so
it's
there
other
was
things.
all kinds of musicians, and then they go along with their theme of like doing forts and stuff. So there's Skate Fort, which takes place at like the downtown Boise skate park. All kinds of like pro skaters will be there sometimes, and just cool like events.
I didn't even know that.
It's a cool one. Ale Fort, which is the what's it, beer garden type of thing. Yeah,
Okay.
that's insane. I know you won't be able to experience that at the
Yeah,
time.
not yet.
Last year, crazy amount of like beverages. They had them from like all over the PNW and like from super small wineries and breweries. Like it was really cool.
Yeah.
Treefort's one of those events that really tries to focus on smaller, more local businesses, organizations, artists, stuff like that. So it's a very like welcoming community. I feel like everybody you meet there is very individualistic and like creative, but also just like welcoming. It's Boise, which can often, be in Idaho, can be, depending on where you stand, it's different. And so, but the week of Treefort, it's just a really awesome, welcoming place and time.
Sweet. Well, I'm stoked. I know you are.
Yeah, I'm
too.
stoked too.
And it benefits everyone too, not just the folks that are going. Like every year, there's so much music that we get from Treefort that all of our DJs are able to listen to and play and go in our preview racks. So it really benefits everyone at the station.
Yeah, it's been, I think, this is going to be the third year for me and then first for you guys.
Mhm.
But like what the station has come back with over the years in terms of like interview coverage, connections, CDs and blah, blah, blah. Like it's just been so cool. Everybody kind of gets to benefit, especially, us as college students who are, potentially wanting to get in the industry. It's like great just experience to have under your belt. And it's a cool story to talk about too one day. So.
Mhm. Well, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
Stoked. Are there any artists in particular that you guys are excited for, or you think that need to be highlighted?
I cannot wait to see the Moss.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So look, yeah, I know. So Caden got an interview with him. He sent it over to me one day, and it's such a great interview. I love that interview, but there is so much background noise in it.
So that's one thing. So that interview was the first year I was at Treefort, and between the 2 years they changed the press lounge location. Last year was a trillion times better. Holy crap! Like you could actually get privacy and like this, that, the other. The first year, it literally was just like in an open like office space. It was just like a bunch of just like groups of people talking, and it was awful space. But it was a great interview, and great band to see live as well. They're
I think I'm most excited for them as well.
I'm really hoping for, like, I don't know how much, I know you're a fan of the Moss, but, like, I'm a big Future Ex-Boyfriend person.
Yeah.
They haven't been announced yet on the lineup, but I'm really hoping they do on this third wave.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like they're going to be there anyways, just because Tyler from Future Ex-Boyfriend, he, like, hops in and out of the Moss all the time for their
really?
shows, like, for shows and stuff like that. And so it's one of those, like, two bands that are just like that. And so I'm, like, really hoping that they're there, because they're great. Their live shows are awesome. And then Briston Maroney, he's going to be there, which will be a good show.
Yep.
Then there's some of the other small bands we've worked with as a station before. Like I know Kalen, he's always been a big fan of Itchy Kitty from Spokane.
Yeah.
Last time I saw them was in a weird field in Moscow. So it'd be cool to see him at an actual venue again this year. Then I don't think King Youngblood was on there. There was another band I'm trying to think of. I don't know. We've worked with a couple that are going to be there.
Yeah,
I'm
I
hoping
was trying to
Oblate
think.
comes again. This third wave is going to be hopefully a big one.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they
Counting on it.
release. That's another big like a thing with Treefort. They don't just like release the lineup all at once. It's in individual waves, and they do 3 waves. And so right now I don't know, 2/3 of the artists maybe, or I don't know how much
Yeah.
more we'll really see, but yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Zeke?
I'm hearing word that Michael Jackson's gonna come back from the dead and perform at Treefort.
No way!
Yeah, with Tupac. Yeah,
Whoa!
it's gonna happen.
This is gonna be the year. Yeah, I
I'm
would.
gonna be there.
It's crazy they're gonna go to Treefort, not like Rolling Loud or Coachella or something. You know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's gonna be an awesome festival, and that's one of the things. Like a big point that or one thing I've learned about Treefort. I've gone into it both years only knowing like maybe 5 bands or like being excited about 5 bands, but you leave super excited and a fan of 20, 30 new bands. Like
Cool.
because that's the thing. You just walk from venue to venue, and you just literally like, well, if it sounds good, walk into the building. We have the passes, we can get in everywhere, so it's fine.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And yeah, like I feel like I try and have low expectations with the artist because I just want to take in new music rather than set. You know what I mean? Like expect some stuff. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, and like just a couple more artists that like I'm stoked to see. Winona Forever.
Yes.
That one's a really good one.
They're gonna be
Nightcap. Is going to be there as well. One that like is kind of under the radar, at least in the U.S., is Dottie Frere. He's actually kind of towards the top, but he's part of an Icelandic pop band.
Interesting. Okay.
And they actually were on Eurovision and almost won it.
I feel like I've heard of them.
in like
For real?
2021. Yeah. No. Dude, it is like so hype. It's like new disco type music.
Whoa.
Oh man, it's so good. And
That's
then just like a shout out, Talon Smart. I was actually like pretty good friends with his cousin growing up. So I know he's going to be there too. He's kind of towards the bottom of the lineup.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Built to Spill's also another big one that's going to be there. Same with Ty Segall.
Yeah.
If you guys are fans of him. Vacation's a band that I haven't known about, but I know a lot of people around me listen to. So I'm excited to check out Vacations live. That would be a cool set.
Yep.
It's just there's just so many people. Like this list is huge, and it will only get bigger. So
For all of you listeking, you better attend.
no, yes,
See us
if
at
you're in the
Treefort.
Boise area, just go get a day pass. It's so worth it. You can get a day pass and see 10, 15 shows if you schedule yourself right. Like you can get your money worth it for sure.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for your guys' input on Treefort. Moving on, I'd love to ask you guys each a little about kind of what you do here. Start with you, Justin.
Okay.
So I recently read your Fish Bird Baby Boy review by Georgia Knott, right?
Yeah.
You are a very elegant writer, man. Like,
Thank you.
well
Thank you.
done.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Like the songs really come to life while I read the paragraph. So I'm interested, kind of like how you crafted that or developed that skill.
I don't know. I feel like, I mean, even though I'm going into like math education, like my passion has always been writing. Like all growing up, my dad always said that I should have been like a sports writer or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. But I don't know. And I feel like the big thing with my reviews is like they're all the ones I've written so far have been like positive.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if I'd be that good at like just like tearing a record down and
The
being like,
most
this is the
out
worst
review.
thing
no,
I've
it's
ever
hard
heard.
to do that. I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Like, mainly because I feel like I don't listen to terrible albums all
Yeah.
that much. I guess I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Or
Like
maybe I don't think I do.
I
Choose not to review them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
don't review them because it's
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm not going to spend the time like tearing someone's like passion project down.
Mhm.
Just I don't know, for like some clicks or something.
If
But
it was literally like my favorite artist, then maybe I
then
would
maybe I'd be like mad enough.
Yeah.
But,
Fair.
yeah, no, that album is great. Well, it's an EP. It's only 5 songs, but yeah, definitely check it out. It's Georgia Knott's kind of second foray into a solo project, and the album is actually released under her stage name Georgia Gets By. Really good album.
Cool. Do you have any in the works right now? Any more reviews?
You know, I don't have any in the works right now.
Okay.
I was trying to hold myself to try to do at least like one a week over winter break, and then that just immediately that just immediately didn't work.
That's
but
all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of as I listen to new stuff that's good. I'm trying to be more like relevant and recent to music releases. Like I really wanted to do one on Hey Nothings. We're starting to look like each other. Really love that band. They're out of Atlanta.
Cool.
And but I mean, they released that back in like October, so I'm not. Maybe I'll throw one out.
Never too
You
late.
can always
We'll
look
see.
at some of the Treefort artists. Do some Treefort
true.
writing.
True.
In the future. All right, Zeke, you're up next.
For sure.
You have single-handedly revamped this whole studio. You are the reason this is working right now. I'd love to hear kind of like what one of the biggest obstacles you've overcome while fixing our radio station.
Okay, so by far the most challenging thing that I've had to fix here was our automation system.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who aren't familiar, that's basically the system that schedules and plays music when we're not actively doing shows here. So when it's like, 2 a.m., our automation system will just be cycling through music. But unfortunately, when we came here, I should say, the automation system was broken. I think it broke over COVID and nobody had fixed it. And so there was a period of several months, I believe, where the radio station was operating off CDs. And so it kind of fell onto me to be able to set it up again. And the most challenging part of that was dealing with customer support. So the automation software that we use is incredibly complicated, and I spent a couple weeks trying to figure it out myself. But once I realized that was not going to happen, I had to reach out to their customer service folks and shout out Hector, because that guy is a trooper. But man, he was clearly very bothered by me because I did not know anything about how the software worked. And so I'd email him with the most stupid questions, just being like, hey, how do I make this work? And
Didn't he have to remote log in
oh
or something?
yeah, after a while he got frustrated enough to the point where he's like, you know what, screw this, I'm just gonna sign in and remotely fix it from your computer. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, it worked. So
Yeah,
we
Zeke has been a lifesaver in the studio. Literally, every tech thing, this guy knows. It's one of the definitely. I don't know. I've never been a super big tech person my whole life growing up, and so he's just been a godsend to have around.
I will say, I don't feel like I am naturally very tech savvy. I feel like I kind of just had to fill that role, and I'm very fortunate to have this role because I feel like I'm really making a difference here. But
you are.
It took a long time.
No, I feel like the biggest thing there is just you have the determination to just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep coming back.
Yeah.
Troubleshooting skills.
Yep.
Zeke kills it day in and day out with stuff.
Are there any projects that you're working on currently? Anything not working that needs to?
I would love to be able to fix our vinyl and CD player capabilities, because there was a period of time where we had automation working, we had the aux working, we had vinyl and CD. We had everything, the major four, all running correctly.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, one of the components in our lineup stopped working, and it meant that we lost the ability to play CDs or vinyl, which luckily is not essential to how we function as a radio.
Right.
But it would be great to get those set up again.
Right on. Well, we look forward to the future when that happens. All right, Caden. Last but certainly not least, you are a general manager, which means a lot of what you do kind of is done in the background, right? It's behind the scenes. We don't always get to see it. So what's one thing that, most people might not know that you do to keep the station running?
At least the most frustrating thing in the background is and luckily I have Richard, and shout out Richard, our lovely faculty advisor I think that's right. Yeah. And he does a great job at helping me keep track of this stuff, but it's all the certain bills and blah blah blah. with a radio station, like I feel like the main thing you think about is like FCC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's the SPAC, the SASAC, the blah blah. Like, there's a bunch of different things that we have to like report to and like file things to, and so keeping track of some of that stuff has been really kind of a struggle, and it's also a lot of the bills as well. Like, that's who we kind of like. If we don't cooperate with them, this all doesn't work either.
Right.
And so that's been one of the like hardest parts. But like I said, Richard and I have kind of been able to work that out. And then a lot of just like sending stuff off. I just actually recently finished the quarter 4 because we're in 2024 now. Mm-hmm. So quarter 4 of 2023 reports and all that stuff. Sent all that off to I sent that off to NWPB, who then sends it to the FCC. Gotcha. And that's just making sure, you know, our PSAs, our times, all that like basic studio stuff, DJs, everything, you know. We're just adhering to all the basic operations.
Right.
Just the basic quarterly reports of the station. I feel like that's weird because we don't like make profit, but
yeah,
I feel like that at least I associate quarterly reports with profit.
Right.
And then just one of the fun parts about being the GM has been like recruiting, not recruiting, but like onboarding new DJs and stuff, and being able to just like sit across the table and talk and like just meet people. Because I remember when I came to KZUU, like I had no friends. I didn't know anybody at WSU, and so I found a home with KZUU. And so one of my favorite parts is just being able to kind of offer KZUU as a home to other people, and welcome people and get people on board and just like be excited about college radio. That's awesome. I think that's by far been the best part about being GM, just because that first year I was here, as much as, you know, she shall not be, or what's that saying? They shall not be named or whatever.
Yeah.
She shall not be named, was, you know, in charge of stuff that year. It was a little rough.
It was rough.
I found such a home here. And so my main goal has just been kind of to build that community and, you know, get people to also enjoy KZUU.
Well, and I feel like the station wouldn't be at the point it is now without everybody being motivated to fix it, to make it work, and to improve it. Mm-hmm. Because we could have just sat around and done nothing, and we would not be sitting here doing this today, probably.
No, literally, like that group of people who emerged after that first year for us three, like 3 of us, Ash, Kaylin was around a lot last year, you know, Davis, like it's been a great group of people who really like emerged from the radio post COVID. And so like, yeah, literally we would not be here without any of the like passion or determination that we all just like give this station. That's awesome.
I'd love to expand real quick on your position. I asked John Bo, our beloved former DJ, if he had any questions for you guys. And one of the ones that he had for you, Caden, which I hadn't thought of yet, was like, what's one of the difficulties with managing people? Because like that's kind of the part that we the in front of the curtains part of your job, right? So how's that?
I think last year, since this is my second year as GM, for those who don't know, last year was a lot easier, and I think that was partially due to I've talked to quite a bit of people around campus about this. I feel like the energy around campus is just quite a bit different this year compared to last. Lack of like involvement, engagement, I feel like or energy is a lot lower just everywhere. And so last year I felt like things came a lot more naturally. People were wanting to be engaged and wanting to be more involved more. And so it just kind of worked. Things just kind of clicked. Mm-hmm. And so this year it's been a lot harder trying to get that, especially in my life. I've been going through a lot of stuff and just, you know, everybody has life going on. And so, and this was like my first leadership role. So like I've never really had to manage, you know, 10, 15, 20 people or do all of that. And so it's been really hard, but it's been a great learning curve to just kind of work with different individuals, trying to make sure, you know, their set time works great for their schedule, or, you know, they're happy and whatever anybody can needs or blah, blah, you know, it's just been a huge learning experience for me that I'm incredibly grateful for, but it's just been very hard, especially this past year, I would say. And I think we still all have been doing a great job. It's just been a lot harder on myself. I feel personally, I felt like it's been harder to get people involved.
Well, I found for me personally, sometimes for this year, it's been harder to stay motivated. Where like I'm still so passionate about this station, about, you know, doing all the work I do here. But I think last year was the first year after COVID, which meant that everybody coming back was so excited to get back
Yeah.
into it. And now that we've kind of adjusted a little bit more, it's not exactly the same.
Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a lot of people like graduate too from the station last year.
Yeah, we had a lot of like
that was a huge hit of the station
That
last
was,
year.
that was,
Which I mean is inevitable, but I feel like right now the station is kind of have a good amount of young DJs, you know, like first year, second year people. So should be able to continue some energy going forward.
I think we're going to be expanding this semester. I have high hopes.
I mean, we were supposed to get involved on Wednesday.
I know.
That was just this Wednesday.
You know,
Yeah.
we've always done really good when it comes to getting new people, and that was one. Okay, that's a great point actually. One thing that I experienced this semester for the first time, a lot more drop off of DJs, just like at the end. I don't know why necessarily, but like it was. I have a few people in specific, like I'm thinking specifically, and it was first year DJs, and so they kind of just didn't return for the second semester, and they also just kind of like never responded to any of my text messages after they came on board. So there was a huge lack of communication on their end from the beginning, but yeah, it's just, you know, one of the biggest thing I've learned is people are only going to give you what they want to give you. And so, you know, especially at this college level. So you got to take what you can get with people.
Yeah. Very insightful. Thank you, Caden. All right. Well, I just got one more question for you guys before we end this show. As we all work for the radio station, we're all passionate about music, and we've probably been passionate about music our whole lives. Are there any artists that you guys knew before they were big, before they were famous? Do you have any claims to fame?
Well, okay, I mean, like, when do we consider famous?
What's famous?
Yeah,
exactly.
Like,
is it like they just got out of the basement? Or
yeah, because, like, there's, well, I mean...
You guys decide what it means.
It's up to you.
From my childhood, if I'm thinking childhood, and I actually been able to interview this band. Their name is Them, and they're a all-girl like indie rock band out of West Seattle. It's each letter of like the first letter of their name spells out them, so it's like Thompson, Hudson, Ellie, and Maya. I was like really, really good friends with Ellie back in elementary school for a couple years, and so like.
Know her?
No, yeah, like we were like besties in like elementary school.
Cool.
I remember like going over one time and hanging out with her French bulldogs and stuff. And she was like, I remember she was big into music, but she was like, she wanted to be like a hairdresser or something. I remember, and then all of a sudden she's blowing up in this band, and they just performed the Space Needle New Year's Eve event.
No way.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. They're doing some really cool stuff.
Very cool.
But that's like. I feel like from my childhood, that's probably the only one that my claim to fame that I can call, you know.
Yeah.
So, it took me a minute to think of this answer, but one artist that I was really into before she ever got big was Pink Pantheress. And she's really famous these days for like, you know, Boy's a Liar with Ice Spice and a lot of other songs. But I was listening to her when her second song came out. I remember like just scrolling through some new releases and I came across it and I was like, whoa, she's really, really good. And it's been so amazing to see her blow up as much as she has. And I'm, you know, I know that some people are kind of resentful when like their favorite indie artist suddenly gets really big, but I couldn't be more proud of her. And I'm really excited to see where she goes from here.
That's awesome.
I think the biggest one for me is actually my favorite band now. When I was first introduced to them, it was like 2016. It was right after they like released their debut EP, and it's Peach Pit.
Oh,
okay. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. The reason why I got into them was because I had this neighbor who I thought was kind of cute. And
It always starts with the
I
cute girl.
know. And at the time, I listened to like, you know, popular country, pop. Like my dad always had classic rock on. So, I mean, I wasn't really like into indie per se. But like I looked up her Spotify and that was like one of the first songs in her playlist. And I was like, it was Tommy's Party by Beach Fit. And I was like, man, this song's pretty good. So I checked out the rest of the album, their Being So Normal album. And yeah, just like fell in love from there. Still to this day maintain that they only have one bad song, and that's Chagu's Side Turn. It's terrible. But other than that, the one other one is kind of someone that I knew before they were big, Ricky Montgomery. He was in a band called the Honey Sticks before he went solo.
Oh wow, really?
And I was like absolutely gutted when I realized that Ricky Montgomery was like the old lead singer of the Honey Sticks, because I was like waiting for new music for like 2 years, and then I was like, oh wait, it's never coming again.
As we were just talking, I did think of one. Alec Benjamin, if you guys know who that is.
Oh yeah, you told me about
I remember for my 17th birthday, so was that 5 years ago? Holy crap, that's like 5 years ago now. For my 17th birthday, I got $9 concert tickets to Alec Benjamin. $9.
Wow.
And it was like 18 for two of them, right? But and it was his first tour, first anything. He had maybe 50,000 monthly on Spotify.
Mhm.
But now he has like 30 million. He's got all kinds of. For some reason, he's broken into. It's like the Mandarin, like the Chinese music scene. Like he's doing like Mandarin covers of his songs, and they're getting huge.
Whoa!
Is he like fluent?
He must be now. Like,
Okay,
yeah,
wow.
you should check it out. Actually, maybe.
That's
no,
cool.
you need Japanese. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But no, it is really cool. And so he's doing a lot of interesting stuff now. And like, I just remember like being 17 in this tiny packed venue with him. I have a photo with him afterwards. But
Really?
yeah,
That's
I never
cool.
would have thought he would be this big now. So that's the
Right
other
on.
one. What about you? We gotta ask you.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Michael Jackson.
I'm not sure.
Yes.
I'm not sure how big they were when I started listening to them, and I started listening to them because of my older brother who listened to them. But there's two bands probably, Glass Animals and Masego.
Oh
Are
yeah.
the two bands I would listen to, and I was like 10 years ago. I
Yeah.
was like huge fans of a couple of their songs because my older brother would play it. So they've definitely released some of their biggest hits since then. So.
Yeah. My sister was really into Glass Animals before they ever got popular.
Really?
Yeah.
The Glass Animals, there's a song called Gooey.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
And
banger.
some of the lyrics in there are sip the smooth air and kick it in the sand.
Is that where you got that?
And that's where I got
Really?
the title
That's
of my
so
show
cool.
from.
I never made that connection. I like that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the probably my favorite Glass Animal songs.
Me too. Yeah.
That's cool.
Right on. Well, thank you guys so much for your time tonight. This was a very fun interview. I've never done a group interview before, but I think it was great. Might do some more in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
You've been listening to KZUU 90.7 FM Pullman. We're a broadcast service of the ASWSU. I've been your host, DJ Daisy. This is the conclusion of What's New Wazzu, Episode 7. I'll be back in the future pretty soon, within the next week or two, with a new episode. But stay tuned. Thanks for joining, and have a great night. Bye.